I'm Lisa, and I'm the mom half of this duo.
And I'm Shada. I'm Lisa's daughter. And welcome to Two Peas in a Plot, our little corner of the internet where we talk all things books.
We read across genres and love everything from underrated gems to longtime favorites.
And just a quick heads up, while we try to avoid spoilers, we do talk about what we liked or didn't, so there might be a few light spoilers along the way just to give you some context.
So if you love stories and want to grow your TBR, hit that subscribe button and join the plot. Well, welcome back. Today we have a book that's called High Rising by Angela Thirkell. This is definitely if you're a British classic lover of books or like any British shows that you may like, you'll get the humor. She just cracks me up on the things she says in this book. And this was published in 1933. Again, it's High Rising by Angela Thirkell and first published in 1933. It's the genre says it's a comic fiction with cozy village novel. I don't want to say it's part of a series. I didn't get that so much, but it works as a standalone. And basically, she's a widower and she has three boys. Two are now on their own, and the third one is, it sounds like it's at a boarding school or maybe a day school. I couldn't really tell, but she picks him up. She picks her son up, and they go to High Rising for the holidays. I think the Christmas holidays. I thought this would focus more on the Christmas atmosphere or the weather. I didn't really get any of that. But it is an enjoyable, relaxing read, I think. It did take me a while to get the feel for the book in the beginning. And maybe I was just expecting something else, or maybe I thought I was reading a mystery. I know I didn't think it was a mystery. But anyway, her boy, at first he's irritating because he's nonstop chatter, constantly interrupting his mom or, wanting to talk to his mom about trains. He loves trains. He sounds like a really cute kid as you go along. And she tells him off, tells him to be quiet. Like, you just have to read the book to understand the humor. It is cute. And it's basically about the village itself. And I'll read what the description is on the book. It says, widowed novelist Laura Morland navigates village life in High Rising while trying to help her friend George Knox fend off the suspiciously clingy Miss Gray, his new secretary. He is also an author, and I don't know if I said that. Laura Morland, the widowed novelist, obviously she writes a lot. So they have that in common, and they've been friends for a long time. So, with a cast of delightful, nosy neighbors and lively children, things are never as quiet as they seem in this quaint English village. So, this is basically a light plot, and it focuses more on the vibe of the village than anything else. And they end up finding, I wouldn't call it a secret, but understanding what Mrs. Gray is all about because George Knox has a daughter. And there's a little bit of a romance with George Knox's daughter, Sybil's her name, and with someone else. But it's really cute. When I look back on it, reading it was difficult to get into, but once I got into it, I really enjoyed it. And looking back, talking about it, I liked it, and I will try for another of Angela Thirkell's books. Not right away. I wanted to try to go for a Christmas themed book for Christmas time, and it hit it on one day, probably maybe a paragraph or something or other. I can't remember. It didn't focus so much on that, but it was really cute. It was different, and what I liked about it for that time frame, Laura Morland was a strong female independent woman. She was financially independent. She didn't want to get remarried, and her kids were okay. She was able to make a living. She just had to worry about Tony. And by the third one, the third boy, she was just I don't know what the word is for it, but she could handle him, and he was a handful, it sounded like. He wasn't annoying. At first it was hard to get used to the rhythm of her, the way she talked to him. But that's the British humor that I do love. So all in all, I would say pick it up if you're especially a British classic lover of books, or even, the British comedies or British shows that you may like. I can't really compare it to anything that I've seen, but I do love that sense of humor. It's very dry and direct.
I know what you mean about the dry British humor, and I also enjoy dry British humor. This actually sounds like something I would like. See, I'm weird. I mainly like gritty epic fantasy with a lot of swords and a lot of gory stuff. I enjoy horror, sci-fi, but I also grew up with like Anne of Green Gables and Road to Avonlea and those really small town, like there may be some light mystery happening because the way you read the back of the book, I see why it kind of lends itself, like you knew it wasn't a mystery, but it also seemed like it was kind of gonna be mysterious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it might fit into that kind of very specific genre that I would enjoy. And I know you told me some of the things that she says to her son in a very like she doesn't like, it's just very British, very sassy, very British, very dry. So yeah, just on that, like the vibe alone. And I'm intrigued because you said it is an older novel. I mean, if it came out in the 30s, it's probably almost 100 years old, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really interesting. And I could see, like a century ago, the writing was slightly different. So you've got, you have to kind of get used to that pacing. And I know we've talked about that too before.
Yeah, basically the book is for anyone kind of like if you like cozy mysteries but minus the murder. There is that mystery, like I said on Miss Gray. She gets mad about certain things and she doesn't show it, but people can see it because she's got her back turned. You can kind of see that she's getting angry about something. She really doesn't like the main character. Did I say her name was Laura? Because she's good friends with George Knox, but that's all they are. They're good friends. But it focuses more on the people than any plot. But it's
And
very slow and a
sometimes I
gentle.
really enjoy that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were saying it was slow and gentle. Was that the word
Yeah,
that
it's a
you used? Yeah.
gentle, steady pace. But it's just more about the people. Like I said, it didn't bring too much of that atmosphere to me that I remember, or if it did, it didn't resonate with me. Because she lives in London and she works there where Tony goes to school. And then they go to the countryside to high rising. And then there's low rising where the Miss Gray is a secretary to George Knox. So there's people in low rising and then there's high rising. I don't know the difference, but two little towns close together. But all in all, I think it's a good read. It's worth picking up, something different. And if you liked Elizabeth Gaskell or Miss Bunkle's book by D.E. Stevenson, you should like this book. It's a little different, I think. But I'm all for trying something new.
Yeah, I'm
And
looking up. I know you had mentioned
mhm,
earlier that this might be similar to Cranford, which neither of us have ever seen or
yeah.
read, but just reading the overview on Google, it's very small town. Um,
Was it a TV show or just a
yeah,
book?
it has Judi Dench in it. I'm gonna have to
Oh
watch
my
this.
gosh, I love her. Yeah,
Anything with Judi Dench, I'll watch.
I love her
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it sounds very small town, um, but also it seems like it's what is this in the 1840s.
Wow.
So definitely a lot earlier in time than this 1930s novel. But
Well, I don't know
um,
when it was set. I didn't
oh, I see.
feel
It
for
could
that,
be.
but this was published in 1933. But yeah, I have the book. I got it on my e-reader, so it's not as easy to pull up for me. So just a different type of book, I think, to try. I didn't know if Shada, you had finished any of the books you were talking about. I know we talked about one you had
Yeah, I am so slow. I've just been writing,
yeah.
but there are several that I don't know if you do this, but I'll pick some up and read like the first 50 or so pages. I'm like, oh, that was good. But then I put him down for a while. And then when I try to come back to him, I'm like, I don't remember what was going on.
Mm,
And I got just far enough to where it was like, well, I don't want to go back necessarily, but so I'm trying to read some things that are more aligned because I read kind of all over. I do have my core genres, but I will explore a lot more, I think, than the average reader.
mm-hmm.
Um, so, but what I am trying to do is read stuff that's very aligned with the series that I'm writing right now. So I've got Six of Crows, which I know came out a while ago, and I think Six of Crows and I think this is Lee Bardugo. I think her other series, Six of Crows, and I can't remember. I read her first book, but these were merged to create a Netflix series that I think did really well, and then it got canceled.
Oh,
But Six of Crows sounds really fun. It's a like a mercenary heist novel, but like in a fantasy world. And The Lies of Locke Lamora, which is part of the Gentleman Bastard sequence, which sounds pretty fun. It's also a kind of mercenary, like found family, like, all these scrappy different people have to come together and do something big. And then you inspired me to get some of the middle grade novels that I've been kind of
yeah.
eyeing.
Mm-hmm.
So I got um it's called The Last Rewitch and the Nine-Tailed Fox, and it looks so cute.
That sounds cute.
And it just came out in May. So and I just assume because there's a nine-tailed fox that's rooted in a bit of Japanese mythology.
Mm,
So, um, I'm excited about that one. And I may actually just start with that one first because middle grade usually has I don't know why this phrase bothers me so much. And I think it's because it is such a cliche. I feel like middle grade has a lot of heart, and I cannot stand when people describe things, oh, it has so much heart. I'm like, oh, that's so saccharine. That's so overdone. But for lack of, I can't describe it any other way. I think middle grade packs the most emotional punch in a very safe and sweet and
yeah.
like small package.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you get the best. I'm all about ROI, return on investment. I feel like you get the best ROI for your time, but also for satisfaction when you read a middle grade book. And I think that's also coming from me in my like academic background studying children's and young adult literature, but it's like I read mostly adult now, but I still have a ton of respect for what authors are doing in the middle grade and young adult spaces. But that's I feel like I've said this before already. We're not that many episodes into our podcast, but thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I feel like I've said that at least 3 or 4 times, so I feel like that's going to become a running thing. So sorry for you listeners who have to hear me get on my soapbox, but Mom, what are you reading? I know you're reading a ton of different things.
Well, I can't really remember or focus if I have too many things reading. I tried to read 3 books and I did do it, but it was not a good experience. So I try not to do that now. Well, I kind of am. Well, I'm doing a short stories on Christmas. I forget what the title is. I was trying to read through it and see if I wanted to review it or not. And then the other book I'm reading is called The Gunkle, which I'd heard a lot about, and I got it through the library. So I'm reading that. But after I finish the Guncle, I have to read my book club book, which is called, and it's pretty popular. I think a lot of people have read it. Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. That'll be next because I have to get it read before our next meeting.
I have to read that one too. I have it sitting on my shelf.
Yeah,
And you reminded me,
mhm.
I have a book club at work and we're reading The Maid.
Yes.
And I can't remember. Is it Nita Prose? Am I getting her
I
name
think
wrong?
so.
I think her name is Nita Prose. Yeah. And I know you've read it and you
Hmm.
liked it.
I
So,
liked it.
but I interrupted you. Just wanted to
No,
jump in before I forgot.
that's what I'm reading. And I think we talked in a previous episode that I had a wish list. Well, now, and I didn't really have a TBR. Well, I think I've grown up and I now have a TBR that's the size of a basket and a book. So I finally indulged a little bit of purchasing books. I can't remember all the names of them. One I just recently got, I can't remember the name. It's a little bit long, but I've got Molokai, I think that's how you pronounce it, and I've never read Lessons in Chemistry, I think it's called, which sounds really cute. And then this one about the beetle. Can't remember the full name. Miss Benson's beetle, that's what it is.
A beetle. That sounds cute.
Yeah, it sounds like she leaves her job to go look for this type of beetle. And this other lady comes, but it's going to be more than just finding the beetle. It's these two different type of women that I guess have this friendship. And I just love when there's a strong female bond and friendship involved in it. I think that was like one of the things I enjoyed about one of the books I read, a YA novel. I think it was the Agathas. That really stuck with me, that book. I think it was just the friendship between the two girls. But I've got more in my basket. That's I guess it's now my TBR and my wish list too. And then we're trying to get Shada to read The Count of Monte Cristo still. But I think we have a guest coming, probably not till next year, that will be reading the book for sure. Is my brother, Shada's uncle. And hopefully the three of us can read the book and then talk about it. But we're pretty excited about it. None of us have ever read the book.
And I've heard glowing praises like since middle school because it's one of those classic novels. And I have it. I have the right version
Hmm.
because of course it's in French, so we're all reading the translation because we don't know French. But yeah, my limitation there is just that I have such a tight writing schedule
Hmm.
outside of just like regular work. So I don't want to overcommit,
Yeah.
but yes, I would the plan is to read it too. I may not be on the same schedule as y'all because I think you're gonna read it
We're going to
like,
read 2 chapters a day.
oh, a day, huh?
A day. That's the plan.
Two
Just two
chapters a day?
chapters. Uh huh. Is
Oh,
that a
okay.
lot?
Oh no, I guess not.
Well, I
You
asked,
guys read fast and you're
well,
both retired. I
yes,
guess
we're
two
both
chapters a
retired.
day
So
is
we have a
fine.
little more time. But I told my brother, I said, I have to read other books to be able to record every week. So I can't just stop everything and read The Count of Monte Cristo
Right.
because it's huge. So I said, how many chapters do you read? He goes, normally about 2 chapters. Now, I do know that the novel can have some short chapters and some long chapters. So I think it sounds doable to do 2 chapters a day. I think I can do that. And if I go over more one day and less on the other, I think I should come out kind of even. So that's the plan. We're going to start the book in October. We hope to take a couple of months to finish the book. That's the plan. But that's what we've got going on. We're interested in knowing, you know, what y'all are reading. If you have any suggestions of really good books that you've enjoyed, let us know. Well, again, I hope you enjoyed hearing about High Rising by Angela Thirkell. And that's all we have today. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Thanks for being here and talking books with us.
And if you love stories and want to grow your TBR, hit that subscribe button and join the plot with us. And we'll see you in the next chapter. Bye, y'all.
Bye.